Hey y'all, welcome to Real Time Kayak Fishing. Today we're going to talk a little bit about my BTV gear, what I use commonly when I'm targeting anything from bait all the way up to king mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and anything with teeth really. Something big, something good, something to take home and cook on the grill, whatever. First thing we're going to cover is tools. Number one thing I don't leave the house without, boom, line cutter's ring. I use a lot of braid, and I don't have time to be fumbling around with a knife or anything like that. These things are great. I'm going to actually be making this so it hangs around my neck because I don't really care for it around my finger, but it's a great tool. I use it a lot. It's awesome. Next thing, pair of pliers. Good needle nose pliers just in case, because we use a lot of treble hooks, and I don't feel like reaching into a toothy fish's mouth and trying to pull my hooks out. These will save you a lot. As you can see, these have had their fair share of wear and tear. Get you some good aluminum ones or stainless steel, because if you're in saltwater, it will wreck your stuff. Next thing, almost a must-have, the fish grip. Now, there's many brands of these out there. You don't really need to buy the fish grip, but these are great because they're simple, they're light, they float. So if you do drop them overboard, they do float. You can pick them up at most sporting goods stores. It's just whatever floats your boat, buy the one that's best for you. Now, if I'm just coming up on the beach or whatever, I just kind of assess the situation. Like if it's low light, if I'm out there early in the morning, I might get out there and pop a top water on. Favorites of Spook Junior and Bone. Color isn't the biggest priority, more or less the cadence of how you retrieve it. If you do it too fast, too slow, it can cause you to lose bites. I also like to throw this Badonkadonk. It's made by Bomber, not a super favorite of mine, but it does get waxed because you can see the paint's a little wore off from fish biting it. So still not a bad choice. Now, if I were to want to say just kind of slow troll or something like that, and I just want to use an artificial because I haven't got bait or whatever, I might switch up to something like this. It's the Yo-Zuri plug. This is actually the floating model. It's got a little bit of a rattle in it, so when you're trolling it, makes a little noise, causes some attention. It's got some nice shine to it with this holographic stuff in it. And yeah, I haven't trolled this one yet, but I have trolled another one similar to it, and king mackerel, Spanish mackerel love to hit it. Again, if you have a lot of smaller, like schooling Spanish or something around, this is a perfect size to throw out there and troll around because they'll chase after it. It mimics a bait fish. Again, has a rattle in it, stuff like that. Now, if I was closer to shore, if there was a lot of schooling smaller fish and I just wanted to have some fun action, one of these two is probably going to be my go-tos. They're smaller Yo-Zuris. I use them more or less as a slash bait. And as you can see, still got a good flash to them. I put this one with single hooks because this one gets hit a lot, and you don't want to be dealing with treble hooks whenever you're unhooking a lot of fish. They just become a mess, and you just don't want to deal with them. This gold one is very unique to me. You can throw that for trout, you can throw it for Spanish. I've had an occasional redfish hit it. They just really like that gold color, and they're not bad. I like the Yo-Zuri plugs. They are a little expensive, but sometimes you find them on sale. I think I paid no more than $4 for each one of these, so again, not bad. Now, if I wanted to say target a bonito, something like that, and some Spanish, something like this. Alright, these are actually special handmades. A man named Dean Ryan makes these out of Pensacola, Florida. Got to fish with him, got to test these out. These are awesome. He makes these awesome hex heads, and let me tell you, they act almost like a gotcha plug. They have a natural walk the dog underwater action back and forth, so you really can just give it a nice steady retrieve with a steady cadence, and they dance really well underwater. Here's another one of the hex heads. These are in 1 ounce. I actually put a small steel leader on it, as you can see, about 4 inches, with a swivel, because again, these things dance around a lot. Made sure I put a hoop on it so it didn't affect the action of it. It's just in case I'm targeting something like Spanish that have teeth and I don't want to get cut off. Because again, these things are great and I don't want to lose them. Another thing he makes that the bonito actually love are these spear points. Again, toss it out into the school of them, rip it back really fast. And these have a good motion, and they love to tear them up. They're made with good VMC hooks. They're not going to straighten out on you. They're awesome. So you should check them out sometime on Facebook. Now, if I wanted to just peck the bottom and see what was down near the bottom of the watering column, I'd go to one of these. Again, you can work this one up higher in the water column, but I like to work it on the bottom because you can see it keeps the hook up off the bottom. I can see this also being really good for flounder. Another good one, if you just want to go out to the store and pick up something quick and cheap, is the Tsunami. I believe it's the glass minnow. It's got a nice flashy tail, nice body on it. It's a 3/8 ounce. As you can see, the flash is coming off of it because I've caught so many fish on it. It's just really versatile. Or you can always go to the tried and true, a silver spoon. Throw this out and reel it in. Nothing fancy, no jerking it, nothing like that. Just a steady retrieve, and you never know what you're going to catch on the silver spoon, especially out the Panhandle or in the Gulf Coast in general. Now, if I were going to go out and I'm wanting to troll for kings, something like that, I'm going to go to Duster Rig. Right, I hand tie these myself. It's 43-pound steel wire to a single J hook, and then a number 2 4X treble hook. I use the treble hook as a stinger just in case you get a lot of this fish that short strike and take the back half of your bait off, especially king mackerel. It gives you a better chance of getting a hook up. Now, as far as dusters, you kind of pick your flavor with these things, man. I mean, I like brighter colors. Sometimes I actually go to the tinsel because there's a little more flash, especially on sunny days. Now, if it's slightly overcast or something like that, I might go to something like my chartreuse or something a little bit darker. I've actually had a lot of good luck off of one of these plugs. It's actually for trolling for mahi and things like that, but I've had a lot of good luck off that. I think it's because it's darker and it just has a lot more presence, and it has a popping cone on the front. I think it gives a little more disturbance underwater. Again, 43-pound steel leader, J hook, and then a treble. Now, if I wanted to come in closer, say I'm fishing the flats or something like that early morning before I go pushing off BTB, what I'll do is I'll probably go to Miradine. Right, I got 2 of them that I prefer. One's the XL. Again, it kind of mimics a Menhaden or a greenback, something like that. Or I'll switch over to what I prefer for throwing at redfish is it's Miradine in gold and black. Again, it kind of mimics a nice bait fish. It's a good size for the Gulf Coast, especially for the Menhaden size that are around there most of the time. It has an awesome action underwater. It mimics an injured bait fish perfectly, and you just give it a couple twitches and it slowly suspends in the water. Now, I've had a lot of luck off this one, both inshore and off the beach. It's a Catch 2000. I mean, it's another suspending twitch bait, and again, you just pitch it out there. Ladyfish love to smash it. I'm actually going to change this one over to single hooks because they love to crush this lure. So if you haven't caught ladyfish, I mean, they're fun. Anybody who's spent any amount of time on the Gulf Coast has caught some ladyfish, and they call them poor man's tarpon for a reason. As soon as you hook them, they're going to jump out of the water, and it's quite the show. Now, we'll talk a little bit about leaders that I use, right? I love throwing fluorocarbon. I mean, there's always that debate of fluoro versus monofilament. Yeah, fluorocarbon costs a little bit more. I buy these out of convenience because they're small and I can keep them in my kayak, just kind of tuck them away, and they don't take up a ton of room. You're not going to see much difference, in my opinion, on using monofilament versus fluorocarbon as far as your hookup ratios, anything like that. But my go-tos typically are 20-pound Vanish and 40-pound. Just really depends. If I'm just hitting trout and redfish close to shore, maybe some ladyfish, I'll go to the 20. Now, if I go out and I'm chasing big redfish, bull reds, anything with some size inside the bay or something like that, I'm going to switch it out to the 40-pound. Just, for a little bit more strength, a little bit more abrasion resistance, something like that. I like to fish around a lot of docks, a lot of piers, structure, things of that nature. And it's the last thing you want to do is bust off a fish because you didn't have a heavy enough leader on it, right? So let's go over some rods that I like to use. And my go-to just for everyday throwing lures, everything like that, is going to have to be my 7-foot Penn rod. It's a medium action with a, let's see, extra fast tip. It's not bad. It's not super flexible, but it still has enough. And I paired it up with a Penn Battle 5000, or Penn Battle 2 5000, I'm sorry. But 30-pound braid, no backing on it. It holds about 300 yards of it. Love it. Works great. It's light, and it still gives you enough finesse that you can still, rock your top waters, or I can switch out to a 1-ounce jig from Dean and still be able to fish it and still be able to do quite a bit with it. I mean, you can still go out and target Spanish with that, bonito with that. It's just a good all-around setup. 7 foot to 6'6", medium action with a, I would say 5,000 a little overkill, but around a 4,000 is perfect. Now, if I want to go spinning gear and I'm trolling around for kings or mahi or whatever, I have my Boca jigging rod. I just like it because it's flexible. It's got a lot of backbone still, as you can see. It's one of my flashy tinsel dusters. I was out trolling for kings the other day. And then I have a Penn 8500 SS, loaded up with 65-pound braid, and it's just enough for a spinning setup that I can still cast it. It's a little heavy to cast from a kayak, but for trolling, perfect. Good line capacity, everything like that. Now, if I'm going to go out and troll for, say, big kings, blackfin tuna, or sailfish, I'm going to probably go to my conventional setup. I have this. It's a Shimano TLD 15. I paired it up with a tough tip Tsunami rod. Have had no problems. I actually caught a 30-pound king using this setup. Kind of an incidental catch. I was actually out there trying to catch mahi, stuff like that. Again, as you can see, been trolling with my Yo-Zuri plugs. This one I actually put a back shot of 65-pound Power Pro, and then I top shotted it with a 100-pound Power Pro for about 150 yards. Then if I'm trolling for sails or mahi, something like that, I'll actually put around a 80-pound fluorocarbon leader on it with just a single circle hook and just troll anything from cigar minnows to ballyhoo to really whatever I can get for bait that day. And just go from there. But this is most of the stuff that I would take with me. I try to keep it simple, keep it light. That way you're not, fumbling around looking for things. You're not second guessing yourself all the time. If you like what you see, comment below, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. If you have any other tips, feel free to share them in the comments below, and appreciate it.